Lanja, who is the CEO of Zubian. We have um, we have Josh, who is our lead front end dev. We have Joy. I don't know if Joy is here though, but then these are my team members. So just so you guys know that I'm not here alone. So, but I'm going to step down here and I'm going to call on Zikora. Zikora is going to take on a session. He's going to take us through you know, how AI has changed the learning, has changed learning, and how AI has changed things for us, and how you can even leverage AI to learn new skill. And after that, Nilanja will come in to do the using session, right? So, guys, the next voice you're going to hear is Zikora. Hi, Zikora.
Yeah, hi guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. So, yeah, do you mind
So,
introducing yourself? Because of course I can't.
all right.
Thank you.
I hope there's no background noise.
There is, but okay, yeah, I think it's okay now. It's okay
All right.
now.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so
Yeah,
much, guys. Thank you for having me.
you're welcome.
Yeah, my name is Zikora. Zikora Chukwuka. So let me share my screen so I can just jump ahead into the presentation. So out at a working space. So apologize in advance for any noise at all. Right. All right. Please can you confirm you can see my screen? Precious, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can see your screen very
All right.
well.
All right. Awesome. So I want to begin by thanking the Tublian team for inviting me. Um, like I always say, I'm always a fanboy of Tublian because their mission is very dear to my heart, which is empowering and supporting emerging developers to become 10x developers. So today we're going to be talking about the future of learning in the AI age, right? And it's a Tublian masterclass. I don't know if you've ever been to previous masterclasses before, but this particular masterclass is one where we're going to look at artificial intelligence, which has become like a buzzword, right? So it's going to be brief, but at the same time, it's going to be as impactful as possible, right? We want to look at how AI is changing the way people learn, how AI is changing the way you can actually learn. So, without further ado, I'd just like to confirm again, Precious, everything looks good, right? You guys can hear me clearly.
Yes, loud and clear.
All right, awesome. So, I'll just do a little bit of introduction. So, my name is Zikora Chukwuka, and you can find me on Twitter at He Can Talk. So, I'm currently an entrepreneur and I run a venture studio. We work with new founders as well as established brands to build digital products. So I also run one of the largest tech communities in Nigeria, and we have a lot of developers, which is something that makes me very aligned with the mission of Tublian. So jumping straight in, like we said, we're looking at the future of learning in the age of AI. How is AI, how is artificial intelligence going to change the way we learn, right? And how can you begin to position yourself and take advantage of this? So without further ado, let's just quickly look at a little bit of the definition of what learning is, right? So learning is the process of acquiring knowledge, skills, or understanding through experience, study, or instruction, right? So however you want to define learning is basically your ability to acquire knowledge or skills or understanding, right? So take for example, some of us here are developers. The process of going from knowing nothing about coding to being able to write code, whether it's as a Python developer, as a web developer, whatever field you're currently in, that process of point A to point B, where you were literally clueless about what AI is all programming is all about, to the point where you could now write your first web page, you could now host your first project. That's what learning is, right? That's set of activities that eventually leads to you acquiring a skill and understanding, right? So the test that you have learned something, is your ability to use it and apply it, right? If you're not able to apply your knowledge in various situations, you can't really say that you have actually learned something, right? So this is what learning looks is starting to look like today. And I believe the team at Tubian is going to go more into this. So personally, I'm like, should I call it? I, as much as possible, I always hang around the Tublian platform. And if you're not there, I really encourage you to go to tublian.com and get registered. Now, this is a new feature that Tublian released. And why I put it here is because you can see it on their website. And if you look at my screen, I hope everybody can see my screen. You can see that these are prompts from real users. Now, there's a reason why I screenshotted this. I want you to read the first prompt with me. It says, I know JavaScript, Node.js, Jest, REST, APIs, and super tests. I want to learn how to set up testing for. So these are very specific prompts. Now, why I'm showing you this screenshot is I'm trying to like um, give you an idea of how fascinating the future is starting today. Now, remember, we're talking about the future, but right now, we are seeing a learning renaissance. Like a lot of magic is happening when it comes to learning new stuff. Now, let's look at the second prompt. I want to prepare for a technical interview focusing on JavaScript and .NET. This other person says, I want to learn how to build pixel perfect web-based dashboard applications using Figma design. These are very specific prompts, right? Now, if you must have guessed, one of the most popular tool that looks like this is something called ChatGPT. So we are in the age where people are talking to their computer and creating some kind of like learning courses for themselves. People are talking to their computers, they are giving prompts, they are writing text-based requests to their computer, and they are learning a lot of stuff. You and I know that before now, if you wanted to learn anything on your own, outside of a course, you might have had to do like a Google search and go through the search results before finding answers to your question. But now, right now, today, even some of us did it. Probably you were trying to figure out how to solve or write a unit test for a particular program you wrote, and you used ChatGPT. That's what's happening today. That's what learning is starting to look like. People are acquiring skills, people are getting answers to their questions, people are doing practice tests with search interfaces. And so, how did we get here? We got here because of ChatGPT. I'd like to take a moment to make sure everybody's hearing me because I cannot really see the screen. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, we can see hear you.
All right, awesome. Cool, cool. So, how did we get here? We got here because of ChatGPT. Now, if you do not know what ChatGPT is, um, I'll be really surprised. But nonetheless, let's quickly just look at what ChatGPT is. So, while preparing this slide, I just wanted to be a little bit naughty. So instead of coming up with my own idea of what ChatGPT is, or probably doing a Google search, just to show you guys the future and the now, I decided to ask ChatGPT to tell me who he is. Right? Nobody can tell you, nobody can say who you are better than you would. Right? So I asked ChatGPT who he is, and this is what I got. Right? This is just like an example of the possibility of the future that we are looking at. So basically, artificial intelligence is simply a large language multi-purpose chatbot. So if you've never used it before, it enables you to put in prompts, text prompts into a chat interface, and it gives you answers. Now, I really wanted us to actually understand how ChatGPT worked under the hood. So I also asked it. So I'll just read it out for you guys. You might not really understand it, but I'll explain a bit. So if you've used ChatGPT, how exactly does it work? So it says I work by utilizing a deep learning architecture called the transformer model. This model processes and generates text based on patterns learned from vast amounts of data during training. Let me not bore you. So the main thing here is ChatGPT is based on a large language model called GPT, which means generative pre-trained transformer, right? And the way large language works is that they are trained on a very vast amount of information. So you can think of, there was it all right. It's Google is still very, very relevant, right? But just the way you have Google it, and we've assumed that Google has all the answers. That's the same way that we are currently can assume that ChatGPT has all the answers, with a caveat, of course. But basically, ChatGPT has been trained on a very large amount of information. There's really very limited stuff ChatGPT cannot do, right? ChatGPT can come up with poems. ChatGPT can come up with code, right? I have worked with developers who debug their code with AI, right? And even come up with design patterns for their code with AI. So there's so much you can actually achieve with ChatGPT, right? So let's move on. According to A16Z, A16Z is one of the most recognized venture capital firm. They said education will be one of the largest consumer use cases of artificial intelligence. And the truth is that it's already happening. I'm going to be showing you in the next slide some facts about ChatGPT, right? And we're going to be connecting it to this statement. Education is going to be one of the largest consumer use cases. So right now, one of the main things a lot of people are using ChatGPT for, or even AI for that matter, consumer AI, is to learn. People are using ChatGPT to learn. Probably at the end of this session, I'm going to share my screen and show you my own Sublian dashboard, or I believe Mr. Nilanjan is going to do that. I created an entire course on Python using Sublian's 80/20 new feature, right? People are using ChatGPT to learn. This is one of the largest. Now, I want you to think about your own experiences. And I think this is the point we kind of like go a little bit practical. So I'm just going to stop for a bit. I want to look at my screen. If you've used ChatGPT recently for learning purposes, can you say yes in the chat box? Guys, can you take a moment? If you've used ChatGPT, all right, awesome. So we can see a lot of yeses. Somebody says every day. All right, awesome. All right, awesome, cool. So yeah, let's quickly jump back into the training. All right, awesome. So so let's look at some ChatGPT fun facts. If you can see my screen, ChatGPT got 100 million users within 2 months of launch, right? Right now, it receives more than 10 million daily queries. And in November last year, it hit 200 million weekly users. It has also been trained on a massive corpus of text data, around 570 gigs of data set, including web pages, books, and other sources. It has been fine-tuned for various language stacks such as translation, coding, summarization, and question answering. So these are some of the fun facts of ChatGPT, right? It's being used by millions of users every day. It's been trained on hundreds and thousands of web pages and texts, meaning that a lot of the things that you will Google to do research about, ChatGPT has been trained on this stuff, meaning that it can easily take what you ask it and give back information that is mostly accurate. Mostly accurate because a lot of us will know that sometimes you need to take ChatGPT's um, answers with a pinch of salt, right? So we're quickly wrapping up. We want to look at what the future of learning in the age of AI is going to look like. So the essence of this training or this master class was to look at ChatGPT, look at AI, look at various large language models and chat interfaces, and see how they are going to transform learning, how they are going to change the way people learn, right? Before we look at, I'm sure you can see my screen, but before we look at this, I want us to quickly address a very important question, which is something that I'm sure you must have asked yourself or you must have read about. But I really want to hear from us while we discuss what the future of learning is going to be like, especially as it concerns developers. So, this is the question here: is AI going to replace developers? That's the question. I like my sessions to always be interactive. So I'm going to like want us to raise up our hands and answer the question. Do you think AI is going to replace developers? All right. Please go.
Uh, I think AI will not replace developers, but jobs may reduce. Like a single person can work as a 10% can do 10% work easily by using AI, ChatGPT or something.
All right, awesome. Rajiv, thank you so much. I think you made a very valid point there, which is that jobs will reduce, meaning that developers will become more efficient, so there will be need for less more developers. So one developer who is very efficient can take the job of three developers. I'm going to come back to that point when we go back to the slide. I saw somebody else's hand up. David Okon, you said yes and no. Can you give us your answer? Can you explain what you mean by that, please? David, are you there? All right. If Victor Ifeanyi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. David Okonis, yeah.
All right, go ahead, please.
Okay, yes. The reason why I said yes and no is because, yeah, for newbies, like there are some tasks that AI can easily do, and then maybe some routine tasks that before were handled by newbies into tech, like juniors. AI can easily replace those doing those tasks, and can replace the developers in that particular task. But for the senior role where you have that involves more technical ability, it might take a bit of time for AI to actually replace those ones. So that's my take on that.
All right, awesome. Thank you, David Okon. Does any other person want to go? Any other person wants to go? All right, those were all fantastic answers. Okay, I saw somebody raise up your hands. Does anybody else want to go? All right, cool. Those were all fantastic answers. Let me go back to my screen. Those were all fantastic answers. And I think the most important thing here to note is that AI will not replace developers, but developers who use AI will replace developers who don't, right? And I believe this is a sentiment that um, I equally share with the Sublian team, right? AI will not totally replace developers, especially right now. Before that is going to happen, it's going to take quite a while. But right now, as we are speaking, developers who use artificial intelligence will replace those who don't. And one of the main reasons is because of learning, right? Now, when you start your journey as a developer, or some of us who are already like way ahead, we know that one of the most important skill for you as a developer is your ability to learn new stuff. The world of programming and software development is so fast paced, right? Like a new tool is coming out every day, a new library is coming out every day, a new way of doing something is coming out every day. I don't know how many of us um, have used Gemini and all of the generative AI that is coming out. So there's just so much to learn, so much to keep up with, that you cannot afford to not have a cheat code, right? A cheat code to actually survive as a developer. So the developers who are going to excel and succeed in the future, and in fact, any professional at all, are those who are able to use AI as part of their workflow. Now, I believe in other master classes, you might have been taught about how to use AI as a developer in your workflow in terms of like testing, reviewing your code, coming up with possible solutions. But today we are looking at how you as a developer can use AI in your learning process. Now, the future of learning in the age of AI, you can just see my screen, it's going to be individualized. So I'll just read it to you. Individualized learning will become more mainstream. What this means is that it's not going to be, if you read a blog post, for example, you come across on Google, it's one size fits all, meaning that the content there is designed for every and anybody. But with AI technology, you are able to actually get personalized content. Now, if you go back, if you remember the first slide, let me quickly go there. These are all three individuals and they are different stages. So this guy is trying to learn how to test. This guy is trying to learn how to build a dashboard. Why this guy is trying to get a job. These are all different learning needs. And AI is able to personalize it based on their needs. So we're going to see this as scale in the future. A situation where AI is going to be able to detect based on your prompts and your history. And for platforms like Tublian, where AI is able to make sense of all of your activities on the Tublian platform, create content that is relevant to where you are. AI is going to be able to teach you based on your level as a learner, right? The other thing is high quality education will become more accessible and affordable. ChatGPT 3.5 and ChatGPT 3 is actually free, meaning that anybody, anywhere can jump on the interface and ask questions. And for a matter of fact, I was able to use Tublian myself to create a course on Python as a test case for free, right? Meaning, if you're here and you've decided to like sign up on the Tublian platform, you get free credits to actually create a personalized course for you. I mean, like a course designed for your level based on your prompts, right? So, high quality education is going to become more accessible and affordable, meaning, as long as you can write words and instruct a computer using natural language, you can actually have access to quality education. The other one is efficiency of learners utilizing AI will become 10x. What this means is, like, I think it ties back to the point I spoke about, which is AI will not replace developers, but developers using AI will replace developers who don't. So, if, for example, whatever your learning style is, if you are using, say, YouTube to learn, I think one of the things most of us who learn are familiar with is something called tutorial hell, where because you cannot really afford or you don't want to pay for a paid course, you end up like um, going to YouTube and you just keep on watching videos after videos that don't really teach you a lot. Now, with AI, you can actually cut out the time in terms of um, a lot of materials that don't really give you exactly what you want. yes, a lot of people are trying to optimize YouTube videos to have time slots and all of that. But with tools like ChatGPT and Turbulence 8020, you can actually specify exactly what you want to learn. You can tell ChatGPT or Tubular 1820 specifics. So no need for the bulky content. So whatever your peers is going to learn in 5 hours watching a dumb YouTube video that is just all about trying to sell a course, you'll be able to learn in 30 minutes, 20 minutes using specific prompts, right? And I think the most important stuff is lifelong learning will become more critical. Apologies for my spelling. Lifelong learning will become more critical in the age of AI, right? I think this is the point I want to like dwell on. Lifelong learning will become more critical because AI will become smarter, AI will become better, right? You can't afford to rest on your laurels. Developers have to be much more knowledgeable, much more efficient. Like you don't really have any excuse because the bar will be raised. If you are to be relevant today, tomorrow, you need to keep your skill sharp. Like always learning, always improving. I think this is like the surest way to ensure that you never go out of job. Aside the fact that you have to build like soft skills, being relevant, like being at the cutting edge of technology, no matter what the technology is, you are at the cutting edge and you are learning, right? I think that's what's going to set developers apart. And AI makes that magic happen, right? With AI, you are able to stay at the forefront of any and every topic online. Any technology that comes up, you're able to be miles and miles ahead of it, right? So while Neil will properly give a demo, I just want to show you guys an example of my Tubian dashboard. He didn't ask me to do it, but I feel the need to do it because I'm personally fascinated about the technology, and I think it's something you guys should check out, right? With the 8020 tool on Tubian, I believe that lifelong learning is going to become a breeze, right? So Precious, am I allowed to share my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, you
Correct.
already shared
All
your
right,
screen.
cool. All right, cool. So this is my dashboard. I hope you guys can see my dashboard. So this is my dashboard on Civil. So I'm not a developer, so my percentile and score is quite low. But I have to just check out this tool myself because it's pretty fascinating. So just a second. Let me quickly do something here. All right, cool. So if you can see my screen, I've been I had to like really review the tool personally before this course so that I don't recommend something I don't think is valuable to us, right? So let me just give you an example of a course I created. If you can see my screen, I put in a lot of prompts. Now, why Tubian is mainly specifically for um, developers, I equally wanted to see what it would output, what is going to output for. Somebody asked a question. All right, awesome. I wanted to see what is going to output for a non-technical like skill set, right? But let's just quickly go to my Python search, right? So I think increasingly one of the most important skill you have to learn in this age of AI is how to write great prompts. I think that's going to be one of like the most important skill because AI is garbage in, garbage out, just like any computer program, right? So I think I need to add that it's going to be more relevant going forward. So I just this is by no way descriptive enough, but let's still see what chat 8020, which is Turbulence tool for learning, was able to output for me. So I said I wanted to learn Python, and it created an entire course from foundations of Python to diving into development. then advanced Python project. So let me show you what I like most about um Turbulence 8022, right? Like I want to repeat that I wasn't asked to do this. I'm actually doing myself because I find this really fascinating. Now, when we talk about personalization in learning, is the fact that you are able to equally like be vetted, right? So if you look here, after going through um, the session on Python syntax, it has a set of questions based on that particular subject. So this alone does a lot of things. Like we said in my slide, right? It basically reduces the costs associated with high quality education. So not only are you getting um, quality content, you are also being asked questions, you are being assessed, and you get personalized responses, right? You can tailor, you can't tailor, say, for example, there's an interesting course on the same Python by Dr. Angela Hugh. I hope I got her name correctly. You can't personalize that course. You would have to watch through the videos, go through each stage to find what you're looking for. But with 8020, you can drill down to the exact concept you want to learn, right? So I'll be summarizing now so we can take questions and probably interact on what we've talked about so far. But the future, as far as this age of AI is concerned, belongs to lifelong learners, right? And the fact that AI is a threat is also has the other side, which AI is an advantage, making it easy for us to like learn faster than we could ever have done in any time in history. Now you can go straight to the exact thing you want to learn and acquire that knowledge as fast as possible and all for free. So I think it's absolutely fascinating, right? So guys, this is the best time to take advantage of AI to accelerate your learning, right? No more scrolling through countless YouTube channels looking for content for the various questions you have. You can now impute your prompts into AI interfaces like ChatGPT and 8020 and get the exact answers for your question. Now, so you might be asking what's the difference between 8020 and ChatGPT. ChatGPT doesn't necessarily go deep into creating courses for you like this will do, right? So let me give you an example. I asked ChatGPT to come up with a course for. Let me quickly show you my prompts. I hope you guys can still see my screen. Precious, can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can. We can.
All right, awesome.
Yes.
So I had asked ChatGPT, can you create a course content? Okay, sorry. I had asked ChatGPT, I would like to learn data analysis. Create a complete course for me, right? This was what he came up with. He came up with lesson, like I have to go and start researching all of these things individually. So I think I still have one more credit on Turbulent 8020. So I'm going to impute that same prompt into Turbulent 8020 and see what it does for me, right? So let's go back. So remember, I still have one more credit, right? So I would like to learn data analysis, create a complete course for me, right? So let's see the magic of 8020 as compared to ChatGPT, right? So this is it. So it's creating my course for me, right? Based on my personalized prompt. Now you can go as deep as you want and maybe say, I already know Power BI, explain Tableau, right? And it's going to come up with something for you. So let's just give it some time to see what it comes up with for me. Honestly, um, this is the future, right? When we're talking about learning, Obviously, it's going to get better. That's what technology is all about. We are at the very beginning, but I think it makes a lot of sense for us to begin to take advantage of large language models like this to accelerate our learning. So you can see it's already coming up with content, right? It can take a while, but it's because it's producing a lot of valuable content. But let me just jump straight in, right? So not only does it give me an outline like ChatGPT would do, but it also goes into creating course content for me, right? So can you see? You can see my screen clearly. It says start your journey by understanding what data analysis entails and why it's crucial in today's data-driven world. Understand the role and importance of data analysis across various industries. So it gives you an exact video that explains what data analysis is. It breaks it down. So if you want video, you want text, it gives you that, right? And it now gives you the opportunity to answer. So let's say, what is data analysis? Why is it important? Let me just put in a random answer. I am not sure. Let's see what happens. So it tells me that I didn't get the answer correctly, right? It tells me I didn't get the answer correctly. So you basically you have like a personalized trainer, comes up with content and also gives you questions to test you on those subject matter. And you can keep on practicing until you are able to answer the questions correctly. If this is not mind blowing, I don't really know what is, right? So to wrap up my masterclass, I would like to say that the future of learning in the age of AI is one that calls for lifelong learners. I think that's the most important point I want to like emphasize here. As a developer, you have to keep on learning and you need to use AI tools to ensure that you are much more efficient. To the point that our first commenter said, I think Rajiv, which is there will be less jobs and those jobs will go to people who are super productive. And you cannot be productive if you are not using AI to your advantage to both streamline your workflow and to acquire new knowledge. So I really hope this was helpful. And thank you so much, guys, for having me.
Oh wow, can we use emojis to react to more? It was a wonderful session. Can we react, more? Thank you very much, Zikora. Thank you. Thank you guys. I want to see more emojis. Wow, that was an interesting one. You even went beyond, just talking about learning and the age of AI. So it's very important. Someone said that so there's this new tool that was launched yesterday. I don't know if you guys have seen it. So but and a lot of developers have been saying that, oh, they're going back to farming. Some are saying, oh, we are going back to real estate. Some are saying, oh, we're going back to do carpentry work or stuff like that, because it is a tool that they feed it with task, and it just goes on to build the software. So but I don't think that is the end of it. I don't think that is going to be the end of software development. But then, of course, and there's something I learned. There's something I heard. I was listening to a podcast. So I heard someone say it that I don't know if we all know this job role called growth marketing. Before Facebook was created, there was never a job like growth marketing. Zikora generated a course on growth marketing when he showed us the dashboard. So before Facebook, there was never a role, there was never a job opportunity like growth marketing. It never existed until Facebook came. So right, we'll be calling on Nilanjan to come and just tell us some stuff before we call it a day. Yeah, we're almost coming to the end of this session. So hi Neil.
Yeah, hi. No, I mean, I think Zikora covered everything. I don't have anything else to say. Maybe take some questions. What do you guys think? How are you preparing yourself? How are you using AI to
Yeah.
learn? I'm very curious to hear.
Yeah, so guys, questions, opinions, anything, you can just raise your hand. I will call you. You can unmute yourself and speak. Hi guys, do you want to? So yeah, someone asked, how do I earn more credit without referral? So Neil, do you want to take that?
Sorry, what's the question?
Someone asks, how do I earn more credit without referral?
How do I earn more credit without referral? Okay, yeah, another way to do that would be is buying credits. That's the one feature that we are building right now. Hopefully, will be out by end of this week. That's the one way. But we are going back to what Zikora is saying. Our biggest goal with 80/20 and in general learning, we understand how learning is very important for software developers. We want to make it as affordable as possible. It does cost us money doing all the heavy lifting. So, so watch out for that. That's another way to get more credit. There is another way to get more credit is if you provide us some valuable feedback about 80/20, how can we make that tool better? I will give you some free credits too.
Yeah, so if you have some feedback, go to, let me tell you guys how to do it. So if you have some feedback, go to our Discord channel. You will see a particular channel named 8020. Just enter there, drop your feedback, and of course, you're going to get some free credit. When you drop your feedback, make sure you drop the link to your Tubular profile so that you get some free credits. So yeah. All right. So, but I want to hear opinions. I want to hear choices. Okay. So maybe I should ask by asking this question. Do you think that software development as we have it is going to change? And what do you think is going to change into? So anybody can answer that question. Is an open-ended question. We are going to have like a 5 minutes conversation before we call it a day for this session. So do you think software engineering as we know it is going to change? Well, let's start from you. Lesser one. Do you think engineers are going to go back to the farm? So anybody, uh, do you think engineers? Maybe we should start with Josh. Josh, do you think engineers? Do you think you are going back to the farm next year?
Okay, hi everyone. Actually, I don't think so. I feel like Zikora already mentioned, AI will replace developers that do not use AI. So I think if for people that are smart enough to actually involve AI in their daily work, uh, they won't be going back to the farm. So that's my own point of view. I stand with what Zikora said earlier.
Well, I think a lot of engineers are going back to the farm, though. I know we're all being positive about this thing, but I really believe that a lot of engineers are going back to the farm. Hi, Jake. Hi, Jake. Do you want to say something?
Yes, yes. Uh, can you guys hear me?
Loud and
Hello?
clear. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I think even though the expansion of AI in certain areas are getting is kind of expanding, the expansion is that much. Like it's like they can cover a lot of areas. But all I know is that regardless on AI expansion, most of the areas they do create other options for tech to for development or for software engineering to take over within that area because I believe what AI works on is software and it just gives you a basic knowledge of relatively everything. But carrying out those tasks requires software. Something like if an AI gives you an idea on how to build an app, someone can actually design an app that will take those AI ideas into reality. So regardless of how much space or area AI is moving into, they still require softwares to be able to solve those little needs and problems. So I feel regardless of how far AI goes, it still creates more room for software engineering and software development.
So wow. I think I like that. I think I like that angle. So which means we are going to have need for more softwares. So a lot of softwares, there'll be need to create more softwares in the coming years. That's what you're trying to say, really.
Yes,
So which means
yes,
you're going to need more software engineers, which means more people are still going to remain in their jobs, right?
yes, yes.
Wow, that's wonderful. So I think another angle is also, do we really think these things are going to hold water? For example, I know blockchain technology has really like made a lot of waves, been around for a lot of time, but we've not really seen it gone beyond finance, right? So now, so do we also think that this is like a phase, just like that in the next 3 years nobody will be talking about AI, everybody's going to go back to be talking about HTML and CSS, that this is just going to be. So do we think it's not going to really hold waters? What do we think about that? Anybody can go, please.
I'm going to chime in. One of the thing I keep thinking about this is, obviously I agree with whatever you guys all said. I see this as an opportunity. I think everybody should learn to code. This is a great time to become a developer. Imagine all the great things you can build using these agents and bots and co-pilots. I think learning programming is probably going to become the most important skill to have in this day and age. Everybody will learn this skill. But I want to highlight another aspect that sometimes get ignored, which is being a developer necessarily doesn't mean that only skill you have is writing code. If your only skill is you know how to write code, then that's a problem. I think being a good developer is also problem-solving skills, right? Taking an abstract idea and figuring out how to solve that problem. I think that skill going to still be valuable. Doesn't matter if you can use AI to generate your application. I'm pretty sure this tool is going to get better and better. Jake, today, if Jake said, I think Jake was, I believe, today it might feel like it can do very small tasks. I'm pretty sure in months it will be able to generate a complete project for you. But that should not shy you from being a developer. That's a great thing, right? Because your key skill should be problem solving. I think that's important to remember.
Yeah, I agree. So that's to blame. We also say so this thing that everybody should be able to code, and with AI, I think everybody actually will be able to code. And developers who think in terms of problem solving, who are always looking for problems to solve, are going to be the guys who are going to um, be at the forefront of what is coming. So this is like a call for you. Look around the environment, look for issues, look for tools, look for problems, and trying to solve them using coding and leverage on AI to solve those problems, because that is why they are here. So thank you very much everyone for coming. I really appreciate you. Thank you very much. This call was recorded and everything will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. So if you follow us on YouTube, you're going to get the recording. And then our masterclass will be coming back again by the end of this month. We always do this masterclass monthly, every month. This one is like a spillover from February. So by the end of this month, we are going to do something around particular programming language, maybe Flutter or even open source. And you can check out Tublian. You can also contribute to open sources in Tublian. We are very big on open source because that is how you get real life experience and how you can, you know, you can also grow as a developer. We are also running our open source internship. If you're part of the internship, can I see you react? We have a lot of people that join us for the internship. If you're part of the internship, just react. And this is a shout out for you all that are part of the internship. By the time you are done with those that are part of the internship, by the time you are done, you're going to learn, you know, you're going to contribute to a lot of projects. I promise you. So this is with one of our internship. You can join the wait list if you're interested. Follow us on social media so that you can be able to know when our next internship opens, so you can always apply. So guys, thank you very much everyone for coming out, and thank you and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.